Hello friends, I hope you're doing well. Today I have a new relaxing studio vlog for you. Quick catch up since I didn't post last Sunday. I spent last week away for a little vacation, which also involved taking care of the cats. They kept me a lot of company as I survived the month of August, so I was away from my setup. As you know, my YouTube schedule isn't extremely strict and fixed. What you can expect from me is that if I post a video, then that video will be up on a Sunday because it's the most comfortable day to post for me. I also think Sundays are the day where people actually relax and maybe take some time to watch YouTube, and always try to make my videos relaxing, so Sundays feels perfect. But now I'm back. Still dealing with the heat wave. I feel like I said this same thing every year, but yeah, my equipment tends to overheat, which isn't good, and so I can only film during particular times of the day. You'll see me post a lot more once September and autumn arrive. But let's talk about Lineart right now. I've made several videos where I explain my process, how I approach it, etc. But as you know, artists evolve all the time. As always, I'm using my usual Lineart brush. This is something that hasn't changed. It's that round brush, and you can find it on my Ko-fi for free if you want to try this brush right now. It has been a part of my digital art for a couple years now. I think finding brushes that are comfortable for your hand and your art style, it's very underrated by new artists. Most of them will pick up their iPad or drawing tablet for the first time and think that whatever brush you use, it's the same. It's actually not, because we all have different end pressure. Some artists are more light-handed or heavy-handed than others. We all our pencil differently, so the way the brush behaves on the screen on your canvas will change from person to person. For me, it has to represent as closely as possible what a traditional brush marker would look like, at least for my taste. So when you download this brush, you will get all my personal settings, meaning my favorite streamlining amount, my favorite stabilization, tapering, etc. And especially when it comes to streamline and stabilization, you are free to open the Brush Studio and change that accordingly to the way your hand behaves to make it perfect for you. Actually, you should definitely do that. With that being done and out of the way, it is important to note that your hand behavior can change if you have a screen protector on. For example, I have one and I really enjoy the friction it has on my pencil. It makes me feel like I'm drawing on paper, and this one is actually from Paperlike. Just to answer some of the questions I get, this one I've been using for years, like about 6 years now, and I just love it. Someone told me that their screen protector wears down their Apple Pencil tip way too fast, but I haven't tried other brands, so I cannot really give you a comparison. What I can tell you is that this one doesn't do that much. Of course, it gets scratched quite a bit, but the scratches are not that deep that you feel them while drawing, and they appear over time. Just for reference, I've had this one on for more than 4 months now. I usually change it 2 times a year, so I buy one set that comes with 2 in January, let's say, and it lasts me for the entire year, so that's pretty doable. As for the Apple Pencil tips, over the course of these 8 years that I've had this iPad, I've changed it once a year maybe. Regardless of the screen protector, the tip still wears down, especially if you draw every day and you do it for a living like I do. So that being said, every time I start inking a piece, first thing I want to determine is how thick I want my strokes to be. I've always been more on the thin side, but lately I'm trying to variate my lines even more, having spots where the line art is much more thick and avoiding lines that are way too faint. I'm very light-handed, as I said, so in general my lines will be a little bit faint in some spots, but that's totally fine. I'm just trying to have more of a rough, sketchy style trait. I hope that makes sense, and to be honest, that comes from the fact that I've been doing a lot more traditional art and mixed media art lately. I've been experimenting with traditional line art, which is something I'm not that experienced with. All these years of digital art definitely show when I work on paper, especially because my hand is very shaky. Of course, you are kind of spoiled when it comes to working digitally because you have the stabilization on, and that is why I always suggest to avoid having it cranked all the way up, no matter how precise you want to be. Of course, if you're doing a vector style piece, that is a completely different thing, but if you're lining by hand, I suggest you to keep the stabilization up enough to avoid those extreme tremble lines which aren't even natural because the pen is way more sensitive than it would be if you were drawing on actual paper, of course. And I'm saying this for 2 reasons. First, because that will keep you more versatile well, even if you change graphic tablet. Whether you draw on an iPad or let's say a Wacom tablet or an XP Pen tablet, you'll get used to the feeling much faster. And secondly, to avoid losing the feeling of traditional art. If you're a digital artist, you probably are lost in your medium like I was for a very long time, to the point where I felt completely off drawing on paper, almost like it didn't belong to me anymore. I didn't like that feeling because I still think that traditional art is the foundation for everything we do digitally. Especially today where AI-generated images are everywhere, I think as artists we need to go back a little bit to where we started, and show what we can do with our own hands. Not that digital art has less value, of course, to have both skills well nurtured is my suggestion. I got gifted this light bar from Benq. This is the Screenbar Halo 2. I wanted to get one of these for a while because the lighting for my traditional art was very inconvenient. Every time I draw at night, I have to turn on my little LED panel, which is totally okay, but since I don't keep it on my desk, I always have to pick it up, plug it in, turn it on, and it's a step I want to avoid and it keeps falling down everywhere. Benq probably saw my videos where I was working in the darkness and they thought, let's help her. Thank you so much. It's overall very minimal but feels very premium. It comes with this remote where you can adjust the temperature of the light, the brightness, and it's really nice because it has a backlight too that if you have a wall behind will give you this nice bounce light effect, which I really like at night when I'm not working. It's very nice on my eyes. So let's try it. I'm gonna film something with this light on my sketchbook and let's see how it behaves. I put the temperature to about 4000, which isn't too warm or too cold. I suffer from migraines that are very frequent, especially in summer, so I need something that could allow me to rest my eyes when I work for hours and that doesn't become way too warm. That's very important. It really brightens my entire desk, so whether I'm filming digital or traditional art, I can do it all without worrying too much about the light. This is so nice. It is supposed to avoid the glare on your screen while keeping the light away from your eyes too, so it's fantastic. It's really well done. The way it redirects the light, it's perfect. I'm going to color this one with alcohol markers, which I'm loving lately. Plot twist in this sketchbook in particular, and I need to tell you guys that the thing that made me love alcohol markers is actually this paper. These absorb the colors well and the blending is fantastic compared to smooth paper, which as you know is my main preference, but not for alcohol markers, you guys. When the paper is way too smooth, it almost creates like a film where the colors don't blend too well and the result ends up being very streaky. So yes, if you're having troubles with them, try it on thinner or grainier paper and see how it looks. It might completely change your approach. That's just how it is sometimes. It's not the medium's fault, but what you're using the medium on. And yeah, I don't know why that didn't cross my mind, but this little generic sketchbook that my boyfriend got me in Paris literally changed my entire view of alcohol markers, so that's great. These markers I'm using are from Ohuhu and I really like them. Let me know if you'd like me to try other brands. Maybe I could get a set of Copic and see how they compare. So far I'm loving to work with this light. It doesn't glare into my eyes like the LED panel did, so that's already so convenient. Sometimes as artists that share their process on social media, I think we really underestimate us being comfortable while we work and create content at the same time. I don't want to put up an entire set to create content that takes time and inspiration from my main work, which is making art. I want to have my setup as effortless as possible, and that is what I said on my videos about how I film my art process. Some artists absolutely despise filming their process, although today for marketing yourself and show your work to the world, social media is a huge part. So this is a fantastic alternative because you have your light already here. You would turn it on anyway to work, regardless of the fact that you're filming or not, and you just need a table arm with a MagSafe attachment for your phone. Go watch my other video where I go in depth with this. So at this point it's extremely effortless to film. I think I achieved the perfect setup for me personally right now, especially because I mostly film at night, which is the quietest time I have here, so this really helps. I hope you liked this little sketchbook segment. I really hope you enjoy my little vlogs that I'm posting lately, and as always you can find my brushes on my Ko-fi, where you can also support me by buying a symbolic coffee. You can also support me here on YouTube by subscribing to my channel and liking my videos. That really helps, and so I can see what you guys enjoy. Thank you so so much for watching, and I can't wait to read all your comments. In September I will post more frequently for sure. Let's survive this summer for now. I hope you guys are well and take care. Bye!